couple of nights before I left for prison, the former director of the CIA's Counterterrorism Center, who later became the deputy director for operations and was very close to Brennan. He was the DDO when Brennan was the director of the CIA. I gave myself a couple hours to cool off. And then I texted back and I said, Jose, I'm on the right side of history and you are not. And that gave me such peace. I knew I could go to prison, survive this just fine, and come out and still make an impact. And, you know, knock on wood, that's how it's worked out. It's ugly. You know, and you get to prison. One of my attorneys said, hey, I've collected a list of 600 email addresses from people who want to know how you're doing. Once you get there, once you get comfortable, just send me a letter and I'll send it around to these people. I said, okay, great. It took me, you don't realize it, but you're in shock for the first week or two. And then I started settling into the routine. And it was it was pretty screwed up. That first day, 20 minutes after the cop warned me about people coming into my room unannounced, these two guys just walk in boldly, just walk in. I jump up, I put my fist up, I go, what do you want? One of them has a swastika on his neck. It took up his entire neck. It came up onto his face. The other one had "fuck you" tattooed on his eyelids. So I go, what do you want? And the swastika guy says, you the new guy? I said, yeah, so? And he says, you a fag? I said, no, I'm not a fag. He said, you a rat? I said, no, I didn't have anybody else in my case. I'm not a rat. And he says, you a chomo? I go, I don't know what that word means. He goes, chomo, child molester. I said, no, I'm not a child molester. And he goes, okay, you could sit with the Aryans in the cafeteria. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm with the Aryans now. Yeah. And then the guy across the hall from me was the boss of the Bonanno family. And one day he said to me, I would get the New York Times and he would get the New York Post, and we would trade at the end of each day. He asked me, let me ask you something, he says. Why you sit with those Nazi retards in the cafeteria? I said, I don't know, Pete. My first day here, they told me to sit with them. He goes, from today, you're with the Italians. And I said, awesome. And they became my closest friends. I mean, I got a book out of it.